guys, so I'm here with another video. Anyway, this is my favorites of 2015, or my favorite books of 2015. So I don't have a lot of these books with me because they're in my bookshelf at college, so I'm just going to put videos here, or I'm going to put pictures here, here, or here, just so you can be clear. Hey, that rhymes. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Anyway, I'm just gonna get to it because the first trilogy, should I say, I got this I got it for Christmas last year, and it was amazing. Shatter Me trilogy by Tahira Mafi. Now, it was the first ever things I was reading from Tahira Mafi, and it was really good. I loved it so much. I don't know if you ever saw me do a video on it, but it was really good, and it was recently announced, not like recently, but like this year recently, that it was going to become a TV show or a movie. I don't know, but that's what I'm excited for. It's going to become a video-ish thing next year, and I'm totally excited for it. I'm waiting and hoping that it's going to be. Anyway, I feel like it's going to be really good, because if Tahira Mafi is going to be integrating her thoughts into it, that's all that matters, right? Okay, is Salt and Storm by Kendall Colfer. We all know that I rave about this book. It's the best book that I have read this year. So pretty much, it's like in piratey times. I imagine it in piratey times, where this girl Avery, she's part of this family called the Rose, where they all have witch powers, and she doesn't know she's a witch because her mom kept it from her and wanted her to be this society girl, and oh my god, this is my fave. I got obsessed with it for a long while, and apparently she made either a sequel or a prequel called Drift and Dagger, which I still don't have, by the way, which is in like the same type of cover as this, about one of the sole characters in this story that's not the main character. So I feel like this was one of my favorites this year. I'm not doing this in any order, by the way, so this is not going to be in any order. It's just in like a random order that I find. We all know my favorite book series ever on this channel is the Maximum Ride book series, and as you can tell by my username, it's BookishBirdKid9, which basically is my love of books, my love of Maximum Ride. Now, they are basically experiments. The flock, which pretty much that means that they grew wings. They were born in test tubes, so they were test tube babies, and the government is after them pretty much. And so the last book of the series came out this year. It was called Maximum Ride Forever, and there were 9 books, and oh my god, guys, I was crying. I don't know if I was with you, but I cried. And then I watched Pierre Ford's video, or her take on Maximum Ride, and it just made me want to cry even more, because she had the same thoughts as me about the story, and the ending was just so bittersweet that I just couldn't stand to be done with this series. Like, I've been following this series since I was in 7th grade. Remember my 8th grade teacher reading the first 3 or 4 chapters of Maximum Ride to my class as like just like a morning warm-up or something. And I told her, like, hey, can I borrow that book? That sounds really interesting. It started the love. I just kept reading and reading and reading until I got to the last one, or I got to whichever one, whether it was Angel or whether it was Nevermore. I couldn't stop. And then when I thought, like, oh, he's making a last one, I was like, oh, this is not gonna be alright. Like, yeah, I get, like, he already thought he ended the series, whatever, and then he made the 9th book, and let me tell you, James Patterson, you are my king. It was one of my favorites. It was up there with Salt and Storm, because it was just this emotional, heart-wrenching story that finally came to a close after years, and I got on the bandwagon late with this series, but I still caught up, and I still love it. And because of that series, I started watching Pierre Ford's channel, where she does all these different these film adapted parts from Maximum Ride with all of her film crew and all that stuff. And then she started a book channel, and then I was portray Max the way I would love her to be portrayed. Then I found out they're making it a web series on YouTube, and then I got upset because the characters, I'm not really fond of the people playing them because I'm not sure who's playing who, and that really frustrates me because I want to know I know who's playing Max, but I don't really approve of how short her hair is. I don't approve of that. Like, yeah, it's like the little things, but you have to get it right because you have so many fans of this series that it's literally going to backfire in your face because they didn't want to make it a movie because it was too long of a series. They didn't want to make it a TV show, but they're making it a web series. I don't understand, guys. Okay, I want to see my characters adapted the way I want them to, but I'm not a director, I'm not a casting agent, I'm not anything. That was my long rant on Maximum Ride, but I loved her so much. She was my role model growing up, like my book role model, and I loved her so much. She was like the best character that I could ever read. She was this strong-ass character who could do what she wanted and be who she wanted. And she didn't need a guy to do that, but she kind of has a guy for that, sort of. And she was inspiring to me, and I just wish I could have grown up with that. I took a shot at Outlander this year because Sasha over on A Book Utopia, she raved and raved and raved and raved and raved about Outlander and the TV show and how good it was. Now, I haven't gotten around to watching the TV show, but I've gotten around to reading the first 2 books, and I own the 3rd. And Outlander was really, really good. I really did like the first one. Even though it did take me a while to get through it, I kind of was losing steam while I was reading it. But then I gained steam because it got really good. And then I decided, okay, I want the second one for my birthday, which we all know my birthday is in August, so my mom and my dad got me some books for my birthday. And A Dragonflight Number was one of them, and it was... I got confused a little bit because I didn't realize that it was like going in the present first and then the past, and then I was like, what? But then you realize what's going on, and then you're just like, oh, okay, this is what's going on, this is how she's gonna explain it to these people, and I feel like Outlander was better than the first. So, one of my favorites, I didn't even think to add this, but it was The Death Cure by James Dashner, and I got that for Christmas last year as well, and I got the prequel of that for Christmas too. And let me say, it had me crying because my favorite character in there, he's like my child, and I don't want to spoil what happens because you'd have to read it for yourself if you haven't already. And if you know what happens, then you can rant with me in the comments. Yeah, that was one of my favorites this year. Also one of the saddest ones that I read, besides Maximum Ride Forever. Another favorite sort of mine was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I can't wait for Glass Sword to come out next year. I liked the way it was written. You know, it was, I read it within like a day or two because I just wasn't busy with college, and I was like, might as well start another book because I don't have anything to read. After I finished Dragonfly and Ember, I'm like, I want to read Red Queen, or I want to read this. So that's what I did. And it was... And then another one was The Sword of Summer by Rick Riordan. And I loved the way I could relate to Magnus half the time because he was so friggin' full of sass. Like, he was like Percy in the books, sort of. And I'm like, can I have you as my sibling sometime and we can bond? But, you know. Oh my god. I have so many favorites of this year, guys. I just can't do books a lot, so. Alright. The next book I have to say is my Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and she is queen, let me tell you. Okay, I haven't even gotten halfway through the Throne of Glass series, but let me tell you guys, I loved A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't really care what anybody else says. It was really good. Like, even though it was an adult-ish type book and it dealt with, like, adult topics or whatever, I don't care. It was just really good, and I'm a sucker for retellings, as you're probably going to tell with, like, one of my last books. But, guys, I love Disney retellings. I love retellings in general. So, when I heard that this was going to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I thought, oh, it's just gonna go the natural flow of the movie, of the story, like, nothing's gonna happen. And then it went places, and I'm like, Sarah, just make the sequel already. Give me the sequel so I can read it. I don't know if anybody else wants that. But I just loved that book so much, okay? And the next book I just read, yes, it didn't come out in 2015, but I just wanted to tell you guys because I just finally got around to it, and the first book, I read it in a day. Let me tell you, I read it in a day, and I couldn't stop. It was so freaking good. And that book is, Obsidian, by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And so basically it's about aliens and how they're not like us, but they are like us, and I'm like, they even black me mine, because, you know. So basically it's about this girl who, her name is Katie, and she pretty much, or is it Katie? I think it's Katie. And she recently moves to, West Virginia, and she moves next door to the Blacks, who, oh, here's the book, by the way. And she meets Dee and Damon, who she doesn't know it, but they're aliens, and they are like the different type of aliens where she thinks they're the big green ET type of aliens, but they're not. They are these aliens that can turn into light, and they're pretty much light. And it's really, really good because I love the character of Katie because she is like me. She likes to read. She likes the book blog / iBooktube, so that's kind of like the same thing. But she was one of my favorites, my favorite characters, and I am on to the second book and I am on Onyx. I don't know if you can read that. So Onyx, and so I can't deal with them because they're okay. I'm just not even gonna go into Onyx because I'm probably not done with it yet. The last book of my favorites has to be Winter by Marissa Meyer. This was pretty much the last book in the quartet or the series of the Lunar Chronicles. And the Lunar Chronicles, if you haven't gotten on the bandwagon before, they are the retellings of fairy tales. The first one is Cinder, which is Cinderella. Second one is Scarlet, which is Red Riding Hood. The third one is Cress, which is Rapunzel. And the fourth one is Winter, which is basically Snow White. And I was like I was seeing it, but I wasn't seeing it, and I was trying to envision what it was going to be like in this world for Winter, because she is the stepdaughter of Queen Lavanna, and we all know Queen Lavanna is the evil character, and it all just kind of got wrapped up in the end, and I was very surprised with the ending, and I was like, it was an emotional ride, like, not like emotional crying, but like emotional, like, heart palpitations and all that stuff. So that was good. So that was my favorites of 2015, my favorite books of 2015, and they weren't books that I read that necessarily came out this year. They were books that pretty much came out. Well, these books did come out this year, but guys, 2015, it was a ride. It was a ride of amazing books that I have read, and I hope 2016 is forever going to be the same, because if I don't have books that were like this for me next year, I'm gonna cry because books are my life, if you haven't can tell. Very, very. That is my favorites of 2015, and I hope you enjoyed. So I'll see you guys in the new year, and I wish you a very happy and a healthy new year. Thank you, and bye.